For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a video review on a new product and new brand, actually, to be honest with you. So with me here today I've got the Telta Soul range inflatable awnings. So there's basically kind of, the Telta is a brand, if you've not heard of it before, launched new for 2023. Essentially kind of the history behind it is they've had about 40 years kind of in the industry, be it under different aliases, should we say, and kind of what they've almost done is sort of branched out and created this whole new brand. And really Telta's purpose was basically to design what in their eyes is probably the best awning on the market, trying to create a load of features and take the best bits from almost different brands, but get over one big issue that we have in the industry, which is kind of having sort of non-breathable materials. So what Telta have created here is kind of an inflatable awning that's basically designed to be used as a touring awning, or you can use it as all season, but it's still as quick and easy to pitch, but more importantly it's the weight aspect of it. So Telta have used a really nice, unique fabric to them, where actually if you compare it to an all-season awning, a like-for-like all-season awning, it's about 20% lighter than that would be. It works out about 10% lighter than a normal touring awning, but you get the benefit of the breathability in the material. So on a warm day, it'd be a lot cooler inside, but also on a cold day, it would be naturally warmer inside because the fabric can expand and contract, allow air to pass through. You also find you get less condensation, and generally in terms of its lifespan, you're looking about 2 to 3 times the length of the product, and it's quite a nice rugged material. It's got a higher UV tolerance as well, so it should likely to fade less over time. Naturally, it's very quick and simple to pitch. You can see from my own Attwoolls pitching and packing video, it took myself the best part about 13 minutes to pitch this very awning. The sole is available in 2 kind of widths. We've got the 390, but there's also a 490, and it's designed that if need be, it will go into a 4 or 5 meter cassette awning on a motorhome. And again, that's one of the things that's quite unique about the awning itself, is the fact that it's multi-purpose, so it can fit a caravan, it can fit a motorhome, but unlike again other brands in the market, what they've really tried to do is create a one-size-fits-all bracket. So whereas you've got adjustment in the height of it itself, so located on the side here we've got a zip. This zip allows it to extend up to a higher attachment point, and what they've done is almost created one size that will fit anything from a 235 attachment point to a 2.8. So as we have it here with the zip sort of fully closed, the height bracket it tends to fit is 235 to 250, so that's going to be basically most of your caravan, well, pretty much every single caravan, and then maybe a low profile motorhome. You undo the zip once, like so. That whole section expands down, and then that means that it will fit from height points at 2.5 to 265. You've never got another zip again there, and again if you unzip that, then it extends it even further to 265 to 280. So it's really nice and versatile, and with this being actually a pre-production sample, the zips will be a little bit higher, so it'll hide it behind the beam so you won't see it. So there'll only be really one zip you do externally when you want to extend. So it's a really nice size, and Telta have made sure kind of it's like I say one size fits all, so you're not having to have like an S or M or an L. As long as you're somewhere in that bracket, you can tweak to go as you wanted to. And again, it's important for a point of view that having a wider fitment arrangement, if you have to chock your motorhome up for any point of view, and naturally you've still got a bit of play. So like I say, it'll cover about 95–98% of kind of motorhome sizes in the range, and of course caravan awnings as well, but it suits really nicely. So another thing that's quite impressive is that we've got a single inflation point. So one point located here will pump up the whole awning as you go, and you can see from our pitching video, generally the recommended PSI for this is about 9 PSI, so it's not actually a huge amount, but it's kind of, it tends to be sort of industry standard for these kind of awnings. Naturally, you've got at the bottom of each individual beam, you've also got its own deflation points, so it means it's easy to pitch, but also easy to pack away as per our videos. You can buy an electric pump additionally if you wanted to, where you press a button, let it do all the work for you, but alternatively a manual pump just can supply a standard, slightly a taller with a pressure gauge on there. Admittedly with the pressure gauge I'd say you've got to know how to read it, so it's only on a very slow downward pump that actually gives a reading, because it's relying on backward pressure from the valve, whereas the electric pump you digitally set it to 9 PSI, press go, it'll cut off as soon as it gets to that point, and it's a much firmer, and find actually you get some more accurate pressure by using the electric pump. In terms of its overall sizes, we talk about it's a 390 or a 490. You also have a depth of 325, so it's a really nice generous depth. How it steps out is almost like 275 to this point, and you get an extra half metre at the front there as well. And you've got this kind of bay window kind of effect, so you get great visibility around the campsite. But what you also find is you've got a little brow canopy, so when you're not having the water coming down and directly into the panel. All of the panels around the whole awning can be completely removed, so the side panels and the front panels can be completely removed, and this is going to help to necessarily reduce the overall weight of the awning. So what you can always do is buy a separate bag, store it in two separate points. You have one for the main body, i.e. the roof and the tubes, and another one for kind of all the panels, the pump, the pegs, the ladders, a draft skirt, that sort of stuff. And it means it's two more manageable sizes rather than one big hefty lump. Webbing storm straps located down the bottom. Additional storm straps can be purchased additionally on the outside. I would highly recommend those personally. Also, what we can also do is, because there's 4 zip pullers on every single panel, you can create a veranda throughout any single panel you like. Naturally, you can just drop it down. An additional veranda pole can be purchased, and it still allows a bit of airflow, and then you've still got the protection from the canopy itself. Around the bottom, we've got webbing points on the main points, and then pegging ladders, so you can also get different attention points depending on how you want to go for it. On the sides, we've got a higher panel located. So the side panel actually is quite a higher point. So naturally it means you're not going to have to duck in and duck out as much as you would with other brands. And more importantly, what you can also do is you can buy an annex, which is called an extra large annex, that will go on either end of the awning. The reason this is important is because it's almost like a 3-in-1 kind of job, where it's a tall, extra tall annex. So you can use it for sleeping purposes because it comes within a bedroom. It's got windows in place, so you can use it like a conservatory for an extra living area. Alternatively, it's got a door at one end with also a mesh window, so you can use it as an entrance. And because it's not essentially you have to buy like a left hand or right hand and you go on either side, it sort of takes the place of that extension. So hence it kind of being a 3-in-1 option. The door on the side panels is sort of situated like so. So we've got, it's like a 70-30 position, so 70% window, 30% kind of mesh door. The mesh door itself, you've got a cover door as well, and by switching the panels over either way, you move this said mesh door or entrance door to the front of the panel rather than the back of the panel. We'll touch on that a bit later as we go inside in a moment. We've got an apex vent located up here as well to help increase airflow, but naturally also, when you come to pitch it, I'd recommend when you feed it directly through the rail, you peg the back 2 corners down first, inflate it, and then peg the front 2 corners, and then there's a little kind of, we call it turquoise point, like triangle point, which you then peg. Now, that's designed to stop those front beams from going too far forward. If those beams are too far forward, the roof is a little bit lower, and it's more likely to pool in water. So it's important that those are nice broken upright. Because you've got kind of like this double pitched roof kind of design, naturally the water is designed to shed off quite nicely, so it goes out and forwards. So naturally if that's a bit further forward, it's a bit flatter, so it can't drain properly. But it's again a design they've really tried to hone us, hence those little 2 triangle points. All door panels can also roll to the side, so you can open it sort of from one side to another. Again, that's just going to help, mean you haven't got to take out the panel completely when you want to come in and out. And Telta really worked on kind of the airframe structure itself. So what they've done is they've also they've changed the material they're using on the actual casing of the tubes. So now they're running with a really nice strong nylon material, which is basically going to be, gives more rigidity, but also increases the lifespan of the product as well, which is also important. And they use their kind of TPU booms, which are really high standard TPUs, and generally tend to be probably one of the best kind of things on the marketplace itself. Because of kind of the natural design of it, having that further depth away from the vehicle means, and also generally is quite a vertical height point here, it feels very spacious inside. In fact, let's kind of actually go inside kind of the Soul and talk through a load more features that it has on offer. So now we're inside the Soul, you can probably appreciate for the overall size in here. But like I said, having that kind of 325 depth really does make this a lot more spacious as well. The thing also I do really quite like of it, because you've got sort of 2 central beams with that kind of sort of double pitch roof, naturally what you find is actually the headroom height here is actually pretty boastful as well. You know, I'm being 6'2", stand up more than happily in the corners, and especially under that sort of front beam, I can pretty much be right underneath it. It means your furniture and things also comes nice and close to the front side as well. So it means that, again, you're further away from your actual caravan door and purely more your step. As standard, you get supplied with the awning a draft skirt, but a wheel arch cover you buy additionally, depending if you've got a single or twins. They don't want to kind of provide one and then you necessarily need the other. We can also see the beam structure a little bit more as well. So you've got a single inflation point located here, it then distributes the air directly out. You've then got taps here, which obviously then feed the rest of the beams. And Telta have been really quite clever in the way they've designed this, is actually that they've got little Velcro points that keeps everything all nice and tidy, and obviously gives the actual awning more kind of rigidity as well. The isolation taps are really a point once you've got it fully inflated, you've got to sort of isolate it all off, so that means each beam then is individual. God forbid you had an issue, it's then signaling only on that point there. You can literally just, like a garden hose tap, unscrew it, pop it off, replace or repair the actual beam itself, put it back in, and you're good to go without affecting the whole of the awning. Other things to point out is the fact, again, like we talked about the casing, really nice robust casing. It's quite cleverly designed that actually as well, it's very easy to remove it from the point, so you haven't got any excess sleeves, which again helps to reduce the overall weight. And that's one of the key aspects of kind of Telta itself. Obviously, we talk about crystal clear windows, so you've got great visibility on the campsite. When you want that level of privacy as well, you have sort of traditional kind of curtains, which you can obviously pull across and get that level of privacy. There's toggle points located in the bottom to keep it really nice and close to the panel. We don't have to worry about sort of popping it over a little time. And the one thing I do like is actually that the runner itself is attached to the panel directly. So when you remove the panel, you can leave the curtain in place. But also, actually, the runner is a really nice sort of robust material. So I think putting the curtains on and off is a bit easier as well. Plus the fabric that they use for the curtain is a much more nicer, softer fabric, and it feels more in keeping with kind of the quality of the material itself, rather than that kind of sort of shower curtain-y kind of point. So I think that for me is a really nice addition. As previously mentioned, on the outside, the panels on either side can be interchangeable with one another, so it's going to reposition the door from being at the back of the caravan to the front of the caravan by removing them and switching them around. What you can also do is create like a gazebo kind of effect by removing all the panels, so you just have essentially a roof material on those kind of warmer days. Another recommendation I would also do is buy some additional rear upright poles. It's going to press that foam pad firmly against the caravan to minimise the draft coming down the side. Also located here are some pre-punched holes, so if you wanted to add some additional sucker systems to it, again to sort of use as a double seal, that's also available quite nice and neatly. We've got a PVC draft skirt around the really base of it, mud wall, so it means again it's going to take a lot of the brunt of it as well. You do have an option of roof linings as well you can add into it again, and the quite nice part of it is they actually clip into place like a buckle, and then you can tension it, so it's really easy to get it in first and foremost and then still get it looking really quite sharp. Naturally, with this kind of sort of two-tone roof, it also helps increase the overall height next to the sort of caravan or motorhome, so when you have the door opening you're not having to worry about it catching. And finally, other things to make a note of is the zip, like I said, externally is tucked away behind the side quite nice and neatly. And you've got little tabs located here, so you can add things like little sort of strip lights, albeit some of the tube lights, and you can actually get sort of 3 locations, I think there works really quite nicely. Additional hanging points are located like so here as well, again, so you can clip something directly onto it if you really wanted to, but with the option of sort of carpets, obviously, like I said, annexes, the veranda pole, which again is a really quite nice optional extra. The veranda pole has 2 purposes, so you can either use it as it suggests, the veranda pole in the front section. Failing that, what you can also do is use it as a hanging front to rear rail. So what that does, it basically means that you span that section there. You can use it for folding the panel on the side. It comes included with the additional hooks that will clip it on to this part here. Failing that, you can also use it as a hanging rail for kind of a coats and that sort of thing as well. I'll tell you what, let's kind of pick the camera up and get a bit more up close and personal with some of these features, just so we get ourselves a bit more familiar with it all and how it works. So, as we kind of move our way around, we can probably appreciate we've got really nice oversized beams located in here. And like I said, on the outside of all of it, it's slightly a bit darker because it's a bit late at night here. We've got the isolation taps. It's a really nice pliable material, works really smartly. The Velcro tabs located in there for obviously the lighting you can add to it. Velcro beam just to reinforce it, and then we've got the 2 kind of pullers to again create that little veranda really quite smartly. Curtains, beautifully kind of done. And again, from a height of where it fits to the van, it works really nicely. The pole itself, rear pole, can go into a sleeve at the back here. This section here also Velcro's kind of open. So you can create like a little bit of a hinge door. So if your wind out on your motorhome is not necessarily flush, it's a good way of actually kind of taking up that gap underneath it. But you can see the apex vent a bit more, and we've kind of reduced that side panel down fully, so it gives you a bit more of an idea about how you can have it as a kind of an open section. But it sits really quite nicely. A good sort of coverage in that front canopy as well, and get that kind of extra bit of depth located around the side. But for me, it's the bigger openings on the side that really helped, like I said previously, bring the outside directly in, and you got a really nice steep pitched roof, just allow the water to happily drain away. As we kind of move round the outside, again, it's very easy to get the awnings looking as smart as you want them to be, and you can see overall how that sits. Storm straps on the side, like I said, will definitely be a recommendation. You see how close the side panels get to the edges as well. Again, really trying to maximise kind of your overall entrance in and outside of the actual awning. For more information about kind of the awning itself, the sole, like I said, is available in 2 widths. So you can either go for a 390, which is the same one I've got here, or you go up for the 490, which is the same kind of 3 bay panel as we see here. The only real main difference is the fact that we're now moving to an extra metre width, so you gain panels throughout all of it. And I think generally, it works really quite smartly overall. Now, as previously mentioned, I would recommend buying a different bag which you can store some parts up to break up a little bit more. But I think in all, it's a really smart awning with lots of optional extras, and certainly one that when it's physically up, it's pretty darn rock solid due to the kind of the nature of it as well. For more information, by all means check the link below this video, take you through to our website where we have all the information listed on there, plus all the optional extras you can look up, be it the flooring, the veranda poles, the optional roof linings, storm straps, rear poles. You know, it kind of goes on from there really. Organisers, so you've also got an organiser rail located at the top along the length of the actual caravan part, so you can have storage pockets located down to minimise some of the main mess inside the actual awning itself. So that's really quite a nice extra to look at. But all in all, yeah, we'd love to also hear from you guys and see what you think on kind of the sole, and whether you prefer it, whether you don't like it. It's always great to have feedback, good, bad or indifferent. Check out our pitching and packing video. We've done this as well. Like I said, myself put it up and down in a total time of, I think, 18 minutes, I think, all in all. So it's well worth a watch. But for the time being, that's kind of our video review on the brand new Telta sole. Hopefully it's been helpful, and hopefully we'll see you again soon in our next Attwoolls Outdoors review video.